Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today I have another recipe roundup video for you. I'm going to be sharing with you 10 easy pancake recipes. Yummy. I love pancakes and these recipes do not disappoint. They're all really easy to do, simple ingredients. If I can do it, you can do it. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Let's get started. First off, we have thick, fluffy American pancakes. These are what I think of, or we think of here in the United States when we say the word pancake. They're so yummy and really easy to make. First, let's start with our dry ingredients. We have 2 cups of flour, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and then with the whisk, we're going to go ahead and whisk this together. You can also just sift it together with a sifter if you like. Okay, like that. We'll set this aside. All right, now we're going to take our eggs. We want 2 large eggs. Okay, and we're going to whisk these, beat these eggs first. And then we're going to add 1 3/4 cup of milk. I'm using whole milk, but you can use whatever kind of milk you want. Give that a mix. And then I have 1/4 cup of butter that I've melted, and add that to the mixture. Whisk it together. And then now we're going to add our flour, and I'm going to add it about 1/3 of the flour mixture at a time. Just helps to get the lumps out if you do it a little bit at a time. Okay, our batter is all ready to go. Now let's take it over to the stovetop and cook these up. What I've done is I've taken my skillet, I've sprayed it lightly with kitchen spray, and I have it turned on in between medium and medium high heat. And I'm going to go ahead and take a 1/2 cup measuring cup, go ahead and pour my batter in there. If you think that your batter is a little too thick, go ahead and just add a little bit more milk. But it's okay if it's thick. It'll make a nice big pancake, a nice thick pancake. So what we'll do is after we put the batter in there, we go ahead and watch it, and these little bubbles are going to start to form. And that's how you know it's cooking nicely. And it's going to raise up a little bit. And then after about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, we're going to go ahead and look underneath it. See these little bubbles forming? That's great. Looks good. And just flip it over like that. And then this side will cook a little bit faster, and it's going to raise up nice for us. Make it a nice thick pancake. It's raised pretty nicely. Check it underneath. You can see, look at that side, nice and golden brown. It is ready to go. All right, our pancakes are done. They look amazing. They're super thick and fluffy. Yummy. Next up, we have chocolate crepes. This is an awesome spin on a classic French breakfast, the crepe. Really awesome, super yummy. If you like chocolate and you like crepes, give this recipe a try. We're gonna start with a large bowl here, and we have 2 eggs, and then I'm going to add in 1 cup of milk. This is 2% milk. You can use whole milk, which works really well, 1% milk. Or if you are lactose intolerant, go ahead and use some almond milk. All right, now I'm going to add in my 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. If you want it more sweet, go ahead and add in a 1/4 tablespoon. Now let's go ahead with a hand mixer. Some people will also do this in a blender. Use a hand mixer, or if you don't have a hand mixer, just use a whisk. And we'll mix this up. And now what we want to do, I don't always use a sifter for crepes, but when I make chocolate crepes, definitely use a sifter because cocoa powder tends to get a little lumpy on you. So we're going to add our flour. This is 3/4 cups of flour. And then we'll add our 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. And then about a pinch of salt. This is like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, somewhere around there. And let's go ahead and sift this all together. And this will ensure a nice, smooth crepe. And then just push down any of the lumpy lumps that you'll get from your unsweetened cocoa powder. Awesome. Go ahead and mix this all. And then let's go ahead and scrape the sides with a spatula. All right, there we go. And you'll notice it's very runny batter, which is good. That's what we want. Just give it a good scrape one more time. Looking good. Nice, runny batter. All right, now our chocolate crepe batter is ready to go. Let's head on over to the stovetop. One thing I wanted to mention about the batter is some people will say to put it in the fridge and let it rest for about an hour. And that's going to allow the gluten to relax. I don't always do that, so it's not totally necessary. And now we have a skillet here. There's also specific crepe skillets that you can buy that are really cool. Or you can get like this crepe maker kit. All right, let's go ahead and add just a little bit of butter. Or you can just spray it with cooking spray. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some batter into a ladle and then take your skillet off the heat and tilt it and just put some batter in there, okay? And then you're going to turn it around a little bit so it fills up the bottom there. And we'll set this down. The first one is always kind of the worst. Same with like pancakes. It always seems like the very first one, and waffles, that the first one is the worst. So we're gonna go ahead and let this cook for about a minute on this side. And then what we wanna see is we wanna see all the edges and everything. It's gonna kind of get dull and like drier. And that's how you know that it's getting cooked and about ready to go. And then what we wanna do is to flip it, just come under here with a spatula. And sometimes I'll just grab the little corner a little bit, get underneath that, just flip it over. And then this side will take a little bit less time to cook, about 30 seconds. Let's go ahead. See how nice and slippery it is already? I love this pan. Looking good. Okay, and then just go ahead and take it and put it on a plate. And we'll cook up the rest of these. Take some batter, pan off the heat. Pour your batter in there, and then tilt the pan around so it fills up the bottom. And that's also one way to ensure like all of your crepes are the same size. Not that it really matters. All right, it's all nice and dry on top, perfect. It's nice and loose. Go underneath it. I'll just pick it up a little bit like this. Oh yeah, look at that flip. Let this side cook for about 30 seconds. Nice, looking good. Looking good. Then just go ahead and finish off the rest of them. All right, now it's time to put these crepes together. Now there's a variety of ways how you can fix them. So many different toppings and things that you can put inside of the crepes. I'm gonna show you a few of my favorites. Make sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what some of your favorite ways are to eat crepes. And let me know if you have tried or not tried chocolate crepes before. Here we go. So we grab one of our chocolate crepes. Now there's a couple different ways that you can fold them. You can fold them into the triangles, or you can kind of roll them up. I usually do the rolling method. So one of my favorite ways is just to come in here with some Cool Whip or whipped cream, and then come in here with some homemade strawberry sauce or compote. Chocolate and strawberries just go really well together. Strawberries, love them. And then just take one side over and the other side fold it over just like that. And then that one is ready to be topped off. And maybe I'll do just a little bit more strawberry sauce on the top. Like that. Also want to mention, if you like yours thinner, then what you can do is add a little bit more milk to your batter and then put less, like maybe only half full of your ladle when you pour the batter in your skillet. I forgot to mention that earlier. And it'll result in a thinner crepe. If you like it thicker, then just add kind of what I did. And then with this one, you could also try cream cheese or mascarpone, and that works really well. And then in this one, I'm going to do some bananas. Bananas and chocolate go really well together too. Great. Fold that over. And then again, this one, I'm going to do some chocolate sauce. I mean some strawberry sauce. You could do chocolate sauce too if you want. And this one's going to have bananas on top. Boop, boop, boop. So there you go. That's two of my favorite ways to eat chocolate crepes. Next, Japanese souffle pancakes. These are so awesome. They're so fluffy. It's like eating a cloud. They're so yummy. Now I have a medium bowl here, and I'm going to add in 2 egg yolks. So I previously separated the yolks from the egg white. It's okay if there's a little bit of egg white in there, but we want mostly the yolk there. And now I have 4 teaspoons, which is 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of whole milk. And I'm going to put that in there. And if you don't have whole milk, you can use whatever milk that you want. And then I'm going to take a whisk, and we're going to whisk this up. Like so. And then I have a half of a teaspoon of vanilla extract that I'm going to put in there as well for flavoring. And then we will keep whisking and whisking. I also have 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. Don't want to forget the vegetable oil. Okay, until it's nice and foamy, frothy, and that's good. And now we want to take our flour, and you can sift it ahead of time or just sift it right into the bowl. And this is 1/4 cup of just all-purpose flour. Some people will actually use cake flour as well. And just sift it all into the bowl. And then take your whisk, and we will whisk this together. Okay, we can just leave this be for a minute, and I'm going to just set this aside and then come over here to the larger bowl, and I'm going to add in 3 egg whites. So I separated 3 eggs and I saved 2 of the yolks for these souffle pancakes and 3 of the egg whites. And then you can use the other yolk for something else if you want. Maybe make like an omelet or scrambled eggs to serve with the pancakes. And just throw that extra yolk in there. And then I'm going to add in, it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And this is going to stabilize the egg whites. You could also use white vinegar or lemon juice if you don't have cream of tartar. I'm going to start by getting these egg whites frothy. Just use medium speed. You don't want to go higher than medium. All right, and once the egg whites are nice and foamy like this, or frothy, then I'm going to start adding in the sugar a little bit at a time. You can go up to 4 tablespoons, which is 1/4 of a cup. I am using 3.5 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. So I'm going to start slowly adding this in. test out these egg whites. Still need to go more. Alright, so there we go, how it's pretty much stiff right there. That's pretty close to what we want. Another test that you can do is you can turn the bowl upside down, and as long as it doesn't fall out, then that's a good indication as well. Okay. There we go. And now I'm going to go back to this other bowl, and then we're going to take about a third of the egg whites and just stir these in. We're not going to fold at this point. We're just going to stir them in to the other mixture. We're not going to worry about losing that air. We're just kind of getting that egg yolk mixture used to the egg whites. Like so. And now we are done with the whisk. And now is when we fold in the rest of these egg whites. Okay? And we can capture all that air, and that is what's gonna make these souffle pancakes really fat and nice and fluffy. So then we're just going to go in and over, in and over, like that. And we're just going to do that until all the white is incorporated. So go down underneath and fold. Okay, don't want to do it too much. And now we need to go and cook these up. I have my 12-inch skillet here on the burner, and I have the heat set to in between medium low and low. On my oven it's right around number 2, and I lightly oiled the top of this, and it's been heating up for about 10 minutes. We have to cook these Japanese souffle pancakes low and slow. And I'm going to take an ice cream scoop and put them on like that. And I'll do like half of a scoop and put it on top. Okay, and I have enough to do another one, but this pan gets crowded with 3 of them. I have about a tablespoon of water, and I'm going to pour it here on the side right here, and pour it over here. And it's just going to add some extra steam, and then I'm going to put this lid on. It's really just my pizza pan. It covers the skillet nicely, and I'm going to cook this really long, about 6 to 7 minutes. And after 2 minutes, I'm going to take the top off and then put another scoop of batter on top. And this will help to make it a little bit taller. And if we need some more water, I'll put in a little bit more water. All right, we'll take a peek. Look how big and fluffy those look. And I'm going to check it with my offset spatula, cake spatula. And they should not be sticky at all to the bottom when they're ready. If you try to do it too quick, it's going to crack on the top. So I'm going to give it just like another 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to give this a check. That looks good. Still a little sticky on that side though. So I'm going to turn this a bit. Check this one. Yep, still sticking a little bit. So I'm going to let this run covered for another minute. All right, I'm going to check it again. You want to be careful and not flip it too soon, because if you flip it too soon, then it's going to kind of splat and lose its shape a little bit, and it just won't look as nice. It'll still taste the same and taste good, just not as nice. Okay, that's a little bit better. And it should be fairly firm on the edges from that steam. I'm going to go for this little wider spatula. And go like that. Look at that. Awesome. There we go. And that one's kind of stuck on the side a little bit, but I don't want to mess with it because I don't want to damage it. And so I'm going to add a little bit more water. Put the top on. And we'll go for, this side only needs about 4 minutes. All right, time to take a look. All right. Let those go for about 30 more seconds. It was a little bit sticky. One thing to note, you're not going to have exact times. Different ovens will have a little bit different heat, and the batter will be a little bit different each time, so you just gotta watch it. And if you try to pull it up and it's a little sticky, leave it alone for another 30 seconds. Because it should come right up really easy. This one is a little scatterwampus, but still looks awesome. All right, the Japanese souffle pancakes are done and turned out fantastic. Really nice and thick. This one is probably almost 2 inches thick. And just some things to note. Make sure to cook it low and slow and pile up that batter to make it taller. And don't flip it too soon, otherwise it'll kind of go kersplat on you. But it'll still taste fine if it messes up a little bit. There we go. Pretty easy to do, simple ingredients. Now what I can do is I can take some raspberries and just garnish this plate a little bit with some raspberries. Or you can do like a fruit sauce or something like that. A lot of different things that you can do with this to serve it. Then come up here with some powdered sugar and make it rain. Oh yeah, raining powdered sugar. Awesome. And now I'm going to tear into one and just show you what the inside looks like. Yeah. Wow, look at that. Look at that texture. It's like a sponge chiffon cake style texture. Super soft. Amazing. Next, keto blueberry pancakes. If you're on the keto diet or if you're looking for a gluten-free, low-carb option, try out these keto pancakes.
All right, so what do we do first, Matt?
So let's go ahead and why don't you do the eggs and the almond milk and the extra virgin olive oil, and
Okay.
then I will mix the dry ingredients in this bowl. Got some almond flour, coconut flour.
Okay, so I've got the eggs here,
Great.
and I'm gonna put the olive oil, right?
Yep.
And then I'm gonna add the almond milk, a third of a cup of almond milk, a
1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil.
and 2 eggs.
And 2 eggs. Add 1 cup of almond flour and 1/3 cup of coconut flour. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And then I have 1/2 cup of baking powder. And I'll just go ahead and just whisk this real quick.
We're also gonna add, did you already add the salt?
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
So this-
nope, I didn't have the salt.
So we're gonna add a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. Or
2
pink
pinches.
Himalayan salt, 2 pinches, there you go. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix them all together in this bowl here.
All right.
All right, so wet ingredients first?
Yep.
All right.
And then you could just dump all the dry ingredients in. I like to do just half, about half, and then mix it. And then do the rest.
All right. Well, it looks like our batter's a little bit thick.
We might need to just
Add a little more almond milk.
almond milk. Yep.
Okay.
So if your batter is too thick, you don't want it to be the consistency of like a cake or a muffin. So you just add a little bit more almond milk.
How's
What
that?
do
I think probably a little bit more.
A little tiny bit more,
Yeah,
a couple
a little bit more.
tablespoons.
Because we want to be able to pour these out on the griddle.
That's awesome. I think we have a couple bonus ingredients. Why don't we add those?
All right. So 2 bonus ingredients. 1, bacon. Bacon bits. I love bacon. This is made from real bacon cut up into little tiny bits. And we're gonna do both of these, but you don't have to add these. This is just something that I like to do. I like sweet and savory mixed together. That's just something that I really like. So we're gonna add in some bacon bits. We're gonna add in blueberries.
This is about a 1/4 cup of blueberries. You can add as many as you want or as less as you want.
So these are our keto bacon blueberry pancakes. Yeah!
All right.
That's batter's still pretty thick. Should we add a little more almond milk? Yep,
Just a tiny bit more.
a little bit more.
Good.
So we got our keto blueberry and bacon pancake mixture. We're gonna head over to the skillet. You wanna preheat the skillet to about 350, and then we're gonna pour some pancakes on there and cook them up. Okay, so we've greased the griddle with coconut oil, and I've got this handy dandy little spoon that has a lip on it. I'm gonna scoop out some pancake mix, and I'm gonna pour some on there. Any size you want. We're gonna make ours about that size. That looks good to me. All right, we're gonna let these cook a little while. You want to see a little bit of bubbling. You can see some there, but it's not quite ready. We want to have some brown on the edges. All right, so they're looking pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and do some flipping. That one and oops,
Nice.
got that on the edge there. Okay, so pretty straightforward. We're just gonna wait till the other side looks a lot like this and they'll be done. All right, these are looking pretty good. We're gonna take these off and serve them up.
All right, our bacon and blueberry keto pancakes are done. Turned out fantastic. Really easy to do, simple ingredients, very healthy.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Next up, pumpkin pancakes. I love all things pumpkin, and these pumpkin pancakes are amazing. In a medium bowl, I'm gonna add 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and that is optional. 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and this is optional as well. Now we will take the whisk these up. You could also just run everything through a sifter if you want. And now in a large bowl, I'm going to add 1 large egg, 3/4 of a cup of milk, whisk that up. 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar. Give that a mix. And now 1/2 cup of pure pumpkin puree. And I'm using my homemade pumpkin puree. Mix this together. All right, and now we're gonna add our dry ingredients. Just add it all in there. And we'll whisk this together. All right, and here we go. The pancake batter is ready to go. And if it's a little bit too thick, just add a little bit extra milk and to thin it out a little bit. All right, so I have the pan set to medium heat on the stovetop, or 350 Fahrenheit, 176 Celsius if you're using a pancake griddle. And I just lightly sprayed the pan with some cooking spray, and then I'm taking a 1/3 cup measuring cup, just pour it right there in the middle, or you could use like up to like a 1/2 cup, depending on how big you want to make your pancakes. Put it right there in the middle and just cook it for about a minute. And what we're going to look for is that we want it to get dull around the edges and then have a few bubbles in the middle. All right, time to check it. It's dull around the edges. There's a few bubbles popping up. Go underneath. There we go. And a lot of times the first side that you do might not look as good. It'll still taste fine whenever you're dealing with oil and depending on the pan that you use. And so you flip it over, and then on this side, just go ahead and cook it for about 25-30 seconds. All right, I'm gonna come in and check this side. Look at that, nice and golden brown on that side. Perfect, that's what you wanna see. And just go ahead and put those on a plate. And then we'll cook up the rest of these. And you don't have to spray it every time. All right, and then just serve it how you normally would pancakes, however you like to do it. I put some butter on there that's already melted. Put a little bit of maple syrup, or you can use other fruit syrups. Whatever you want to do, totally up to you. And then come in here with the powdered sugar. And there we go. Homemade pumpkin pancakes made with fresh homemade pure pumpkin puree. All right, we'll just come in here. Yeah. And there you go. Pretty awesome. Number 6, red velvet pancakes. These are perfect for like Valentine's Day or any special occasion. They are so yummy and again, really easy to make. We begin with a large bowl and we have a couple eggs here. 1, 2. Give those eggs a good whisk. And now we add in our oil. This is a 1/4 cup of oil. You can use vegetable oil, olive oil, coconut oil. And we'll go in here and just give that a little whisk. And then we will add in, I have about 2.5 cups of milk here, but we are not going to use all of the milk yet. Put in, about 1.75 cups at first. And then we'll save the rest to thin out the batter, the pancake batter. And now I have 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Whisk that in. And then I have my cake mix. And this is just a red velvet cake mix by Duncan Hines. It was like $1.25 at the supermarket. Let's put that in there. And we'll whisk this up. Look at that nice deep red color. Oh yeah. All right, and now is where I'm gonna add some more milk just to thin it out. It's a little bit too thick. A little bit more milk. I think I'll just add the rest of it. All right, that's kind of how I like it. Nice and runny. And now the red velvet cake mix pancake batter is ready to go. On over to the stovetop. All right, here we are over at the stovetop. I have my skillet here and I lightly sprayed it with kitchen spray. I have my heat set to medium low. If you're on the griddle, it'll be right around 300 to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to take some batter and just put it right here in the middle. And I'm just using a 2/3 cup measuring cup. And now we're going to cook this until the edges get dull and dry looking, and then there's some bubbles that form around the edges, and that's how we'll know we need to flip it. Okay, now once it's got nice and dry looking around the edges and a little bit on the top, what we want to do is flip it and just come in here with your spatula, and it helps if you have a larger spatula, and just flip it over like that. Notice how there wasn't a ton of splatter, maybe just a little bit on the edges. I probably could have let it cook just a little bit longer. It's okay, you can just push that edge in a little bit. But just like that. If you don't let it cook long enough, then it really splatters when you flip it. And then this side will take about half the time as the first side. So about 1.5 minutes. The first side took about 2.5, 3 minutes. And it's really nice to have a big griddle because then you can put like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 on the griddle at a time, and just makes it go a lot faster. And then after about 1 minute or so, you can come in here and grab your pancake and put it on a plate. And you don't have to keep putting on kitchen spray. Maybe every 3 or 4 pancakes you can add some more. You only need to flip these once. You shouldn't be flipping it like several times, the pancake. Just one flip is ideal. And you can check it on the bottom, looks good. Put it on your plate. And then to top it off, you can do just powdered sugar. You could do whipped cream, or you could do a little bit of whipped topping here. I'll put some blueberries on it. And there we go. Amazing red velvet cake mix pancakes. All right, I'm gonna just take a fork here and show you what it looks like on the inside. See that? Nice and fluffy on the inside. Awesome. Next, Funfetti cake mix pancakes. These are awesome. They're perfect for like birthdays, for kids, super yummy, and again, really easy to make. All right, so I have a large bowl here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my 2 eggs, give those a good whisk. Great, add in our oil, 1/4 cup of oil. I'm using vegetable oil, but you can use whatever kind of oil that you want. All right, I have 2.5 cups of milk here. I'm gonna just add about 2 of the cups first. And I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of normal all-purpose flour or plain flour. Give that a mix. And then I'm gonna add in my Funfetti cake mix, or you can use whatever kind of cake mix that you want. Give it a good mix. Now that's pretty good. I might just add in a tiny bit more, so I only wound up using about 2 cups. That's great. That's kind of how you want your pancake mix, runny like that. And if you want it more runny, just add the rest of the milk. If you want it a little bit thicker, use less of the milk. And there we go. Let's go on over to the stovetop and our skillet. Here we go. I'm over at the stovetop. I heated up my pan, medium heat, or if you're using like a griddle, about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 176 Celsius. Let's go ahead and spray this with some kitchen spray. And now what we want to do is just go ahead and just take some pancake batter with a ladle. And just ladle some on. All right, so we're just gonna let this sit and cook for a few minutes until it starts to bubble on top. And then we will flip it over and then cook it for a minute or 2 more, and then it'll be done. All right, it's probably a little hard for you to see, but there's these little tiny bubbles on the top and it's dry around the edges. Let's go ahead and give this a flip. Oh yeah, look at that. Looking awesome. Now this second side will take a little bit less time to cook. Just about a minute, minute and a half. Been about a minute. I'm just gonna go ahead and check underneath. Yep, it's great. And then just go ahead and just transfer this over to a plate and then cook up the rest of them. And then you can serve them however you want. I'm gonna come in here with some Cool Whip and put some sprinkles on top. Time for me to dive into this. Oh yeah. Take some of that whipped cream. Next, a very popular breakfast here in the United States, Dutch babies, also called German pancakes. First, let's preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to start with 6 eggs, put them in a large bowl, and then to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of milk. You can use 1%, 2%, whole milk. And I'm gonna come in here and just give this a good whisk. And you could do this in a blender if you'd like as well. And then to this, we'll add 1 cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and that is it for the batter. If you want this a little bit more sweet, you can add like a tablespoon of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. But this is the basic recipe. Let's go ahead and mix this together. All right, when you're done, it'll be nice and runny like that. And now what we do is we take a 13 by 9 baking dish and we take 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna go ahead and put that right in there. And then we're gonna put this in the oven and let the butter melt completely. And then we'll take it out, the pan will be hot, and then we'll add our batter right in there. All right, and then after about a minute or so, we'll take our pan out, make sure you use a hot mitt, and make sure the butter gets moved around a little bit. And then we're gonna take our batter and pour it right in the middle. And we'll go ahead and put this back in the oven. And we'll bake it for 20 minutes to 22 minutes until the sides come up the batter's gonna go up the sides and get it golden brown. It's gonna look really cool. All right, timer's done. All right. And then we take them out. It'll look like that. Really cool. Look out the golden brown on the edges. And then you just top them off however you like, with powdered sugar, syrup, whipped cream, fruit, whatever you like to do. And as you see, it's gonna start to go back down, fall back down, and that's totally okay, super natural. Number 9, chocolate pancakes. Oh yeah, if you love chocolate and you love classic American pancakes, give this recipe a try. All right, start by heating up your griddle to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or if you're using your stovetop, just go ahead and set it to medium heat. Now let's go ahead and take our 1 large egg and put it in a bowl. Take a whisk, let's just whisk this up a little bit. That's good. Let's add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter. Let's give it another whisk. All right, now let's add in 1 cup of milk, and you can use almond milk if you're lactose intolerant. You can use whole milk, 1%, 2%, whatever you want to do. All right, fantastic. Now let's go ahead and put in our dry ingredients. I'm just gonna use a sifter that I have here, but if you don't have one, that's okay. This just helps to get everything all nice and blended together, especially the cocoa powder. Sometimes the cocoa powder can get kind of lumpy, so that's why I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna start with my flour, and it's okay if it comes out the sides a little bit. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just tap the sides a little bit. All right, easy as that. And then with a spoon or a whisk, let's just go ahead and whisk our batter together here. I like this silicone whisk because it also acts as a scraper when you go around the sides. So I really like it. And you just mix it until it's a nice, even consistency. Or if you make pancakes all the time, then just like a nice thick pancake mixture. That looks great. If it's too thick, go ahead and add in a little bit more milk. And if you want your pancakes to be thinner as well, nice. This is ready to go. And then how to tell if your pan is hot enough, just take some water and flick it on the pan, and when it sizzles, you know it's ready to go. Now you may or may not need like some butter or some like oil on your pan. And you just take I take like a 1/4 cup to start with. Winds up being about a 1/2 cup worth, depending on how big you want to make them. And there we go, let these cook. All right, and then we're gonna cook them until the sides around it are gonna get nice, kind of like a dry, and it's gonna be a little bit bubbly, and then we'll know that it's time to flip it. It usually just takes about a couple of minutes. I don't know if you can notice here on the camera, but the edges are kind of like dull in color. There's a few little bubbles on the top. I'm gonna go ahead and just flip it with a spatula. Just like that. Oh yeah, looking good. And then this other side will take a little bit less time than the first side, about a minute, minute and a half. Yeah, looking good. And then just go ahead and transfer it over to a plate and then cook up the rest of them. Once our chocolate pancakes are done, time to top them off. And I'm gonna go ahead and use some powdered sugar, because why not? We all like some powdered sugar, don't we? Oh yeah, and then because I love fruit and raspberries, Awesome. Chocolate pancakes. And finally, number 10, one of my all-time favorite recipes, crepes. These are just classic French-style crepes. They're so yummy. Other parts of the world just call them thin pancakes. Whatever you call them, they're super awesome and really easy to make. First, some people like to do this in a blender. So I got a blender here, but I'm gonna actually do this with a hand mixer. You can use a stand mixer if you want, or you can use a whisk. But let's first start off with 2 eggs. 1.5 cups of milk. This is 2% milk, but you could use 1% or whole milk if you like. 1 teaspoon of oil. This is canola oil, or you could use vegetable oil. Also, some people like to substitute the oil with butter. Take like a tablespoon of butter and melt it and put it in there. All right, I'm gonna blend this together well. And now I'm gonna add 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that is the base batter for crepes. If you're gonna make a sweet crepe, what I like to do is I like to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. If you're making a savory crepe, leave out the vanilla extract, leave out the sugar, and then add an extra 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Mix this together. Now, some people will chill this for about an hour in the refrigerator. I don't do that. I don't find it necessary, but you certainly can if you're having trouble with your batter. And now this batter is ready to go. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat on the stove between medium and medium high. And now I just have a 8-inch non-stick skillet here. They do have a crepe skillet that you can buy, or they also have these little crepe making kits that you can get that are pretty cool. Now, once our pan is getting heated up, I'm gonna also take a little bit of butter, not a whole lot. I'm gonna put it in the pan. I have a ladle here and it holds about 1/4 cup worth of batter. If you don't have a ladle like this, you can just use a 1/4 cup if you want, but this works really nicely. And then what I do is I'm gonna come in here and grab some batter, and I'm gonna pour the pan, or tilt the pan, lift it off the heat, tilt it up, and just go in here and pour this in there, and then tilt the pan. Like that. Put it back on the heat. And then this is gonna take, about a minute, minute and a half on this side. And what we want it to do is we want it to get nice and dry on top. And then we're gonna take a spatula, just come underneath here. And just like pancakes, the first one usually doesn't turn out the best, but that's okay, you can still eat it. And then when we flip it over on this side, it's just gonna be there for 10, 20 seconds. Okay. And if you look at this side, that's ideally what you like to see, is these little blotches on there. That looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it over here. Tilt it up, get some batter. Turn it over. And you can just go ahead and stack them up on each other. They won't stick. All right, now that our crepes are done, it's time to prepare them. There's so many different ways that you can make a crepe. You can do a sweet crepe, which is what I'm doing. You can do savory, totally up to you. Some of my favorite toppings are strawberries, Nutella, bananas, whipped cream, Cool Whip, honey, powdered sugar, so many different varieties. Right now, I'm gonna show you a couple of my favorites. And for this one, I'm just gonna do a classic Nutella one. And so you just grab some Nutella, however much that you want. I'm not gonna put a ton on there. For the really big crepes that you get like at the crepe shop, usually what I've seen is they'll take it and they'll fold it over like that. And then they'll fold it over one more time like that. So that's a cool way to do one of my favorite ways, and you can top it off with powdered sugar. Another favorite way of mine is, we'll grab some of this Cool Whip, and then I'll line it with strawberries. Oh, strawberries. Love strawberries. Almost as much as bacon. All right, and then on this one, I'm just going to fold that over and then roll it up. And then you can top it off however you like. So there's a couple of my favorite ways to eat a crepe. I hope you enjoyed those 10 easy pancake recipes and give them a try sometime. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your favorite is. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down the corner, push it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care.